list. I'm gonna move like my PC over here. All right. So coming back with another Smite list. I've been getting more back into Smite. I've been getting back into Smite recently. Been playing ranked and just grinding on the ladder. So I've no since the ADCs have gotten the new item fail not, which makes them really good right now to the point where we have double ADC meta, and me being an ADC main, I that's my most comfortable role. That's what I've been using to climb through ranked. I'm gonna decide to make a tier list based on ranked play, and yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. AMC. Now, disclaimer: this is not based on like high levels of play, like the competitive scene, the pro scene of Smite. So the people where I put in these tier lists are the people who I think are the easiest to just help you carry a game, whether it be in low level, like whether you're grinding from low level or they can work in top level of play. I'm looking at all levels of play, and these are just comparatively. So if I put someone down here in B plus, it doesn't mean that they're B plus. At most they're A, but compared to the other ADCs, they're not they're not like high up here. Like yeah, that's basically what I mean. Anyways, AMC B plus. AMC, I have it's like the Terra situation back when she first got released. Was Terra at high levels and in competitive was really good because everyone had like team communication, but in ranked, even especially in low levels, you're not gonna have that team communication. Not everyone wants to join your parties or wants to talk vocally to you, and so, be as it may, AMC has no immediate escape. He has a lot of movement speed, but at the same time, it's still not enough to get out of like the sticky situations, especially with Arachne players being played like really high in ranked and the Boxeras, just people along those like Susanos that just can lock you down where you just want to like throw your computer or console out the window because they're just frustrating to play against. Yes, I know. But AMC has godlike levels of clear. His ult hurts really great damage, can out pressure people if you get a little bit of a lead. He, and his beehives make it to where he's a really good boxer. But due to his lack of an escape, I would have to put him in B plus because he can't safely get out of those situations in lower levels of the lower MMR rank. So that's kind of why I was hesitant to put him any place higher than B plus, is because I find it hard to carry if you can't help yourself to live. It's gonna be hard to carry like scrubs basically, and that's why I say AMC is B plus. On her, I am moving to A plus. Really good. My only problem is with on her is his slow attack, like his slow attack speed, and on her on her is more of a mid laner as of right now instead of an ADC. But of course, he can still be played in the ADC role. It's just that he uses the Transcendence Fail Not bow build way better than the devs, and that's because his 2 can hurt like a mofo, and his ult can really hurt and shred a person to kill them. That's why you run trans. But the problem with running trans is that you either go third item Aussie for sustain, but you lose on rushing fail not, which if the enemy ADC is doing the devs stacking with fail not third item, then you don't have fail not, and that's a huge team bonus for their team. And if you go fail not third item, you don't have any sustain, so you can potentially lose boxing. Uh, you can lose boxing fights with the other ADC potentially if you're behind, like if you're behind and or on the same level, and that's why I say on her is A plus. Other than that, he's really solid, really good. He has a leap, which is really safe. Other than that, oh yeah, also he has a slow. He has like a good amount of CC being with his slow from the pillar and a knock up with his leap, even though the leap is really slow, so you're gonna have to kind of like time it. You're gonna have to kind of, how can I say it, overcompensate for that because I notice it's slower than most other leaps. So other than that, on her is A plus, solid, has solid clear, some good forms of CC, and just pretty all around damaging. It's just he doesn't have an attack speed steroid. Apollo is S due to the fact that Apollo right now is one of the best users of Fail Not. You can rotate. His rotates and ganks are really on point with his ult. You just ult in, you knock a person up, bam, Fail Not applies. Your team can collapse on them, or you can just completely shred them. His mez is really good, really safe. You can basically knock them up. Try to get an auto attack in. Mez auto one. It does, and it does a pretty decent amount of damage. Or you mez one auto might be, but besides besides that, they buffed his passive, so you can consistently get it off more, which is really good because it really helps you in those early game trades when the enemy ADC and you don't really have as much of attack speed yet. And what you could simply do with Apollo is you can literally just split push. He's the best split pusher for ADCs. Split push, ward up the jungle, ward up top, ult when the enemy team is rotating towards you, and bam. Due to his 100% attack speed, he's one of the best tower push. He's one of the better tower destroyers because once you get that passive going, that the next 5 shots get 100%, has 100% attack speed, and you can shred towers very quickly by doing that. Really good. If you win the early game, you can probably push a tower and knock it down within about like 10 minutes or so if like it's a really good, if you kill like both the support and the carry. So he's pretty dangerous in that sense. He has a dash that knocks people up and gives him movement speed, so he's pretty safe in that. So he has a lot of escape potential, and that's why I think Apollo is really good because you have the necessary tools to basically take down objectives, gank other people, outbox, and just run away and just live. That's why I say Apollo is S tier. Moving on to Artemis, I put her in B. She does have like a really good team ult that can proc fail not bow like really great. Or it can help you proc fail not bow really wonderfully. But the thing is that Artemis doesn't have any movement speed. She doesn't have any movement. Her clear is bad. In higher levels, she's gonna get locked down, and I don't think you can probably get away with playing her in lower, but the thing is that in higher you're just gonna get stomped. I don't think she can really carry you as well as per se like other people because they can just farm better. Like they can push for camps better than you just to get that little XP. So that's why I think Artemis is just B, is because like the stuff she can only really team fight. She's only really there for a team fight ult. But the thing is, if you really wanted a team fight ult, just get a Medusa. It saves you the trouble. CERN. I put CERN in A, and the reason why I put CERN in A is because I think after the Runeforge nerf, CERN kind of fell off a bit. Oh well, I wouldn't say fell off a bit, but I think he's just not as crazy, which is okay. He still has a wonderful team fight ult. He has pretty decent clear. He has a lot of utility on his one, and he has a really good dash that's fast and does a lot of damage. So I think he's a really solid. I think he's really solid, even though his ult doesn't do a lot of damage. Is mainly just to push people off, like of an objective by polymorphing. But he can be very if a certain player does know how to use his like just bramble blast you and get the stun every time, it's really annoying because all that damage just stacks up and can push you out of lane. And so that's why I think CERN is A is because like if you're behind, you're not really doing much, but if you're ahead, you do a lot. That's kind of like what a CERN player is kind of looking for. That's how you play CERN. You're just looking to get ahead the best way as possible, just to dominate. But if you don't, you're really not doing much until you finally get into late game. Chernobog. Okay, so a part of me wants to place Chernobog in A plus just because of rotations, and actually, huh. Okay, so I'm gonna put Chernobog in A plus. Only reason why I'm putting Chernobog in A plus is because you can ult back into lane if you like know, or you can ult to escape if you know what you're doing. Um, one of his glaring issues is people with movement speed can easily just go out of your combo, but you do a lot of damage. You can clear really well once you hit like level 3, and so I think he's kind of safe. The wall, go into a wall if you're getting aggressed on, so your team has enough time to come and try to peel for you. That is also really strong, and he has that really great that attack speed steroid that also can crit. So I feel as if like Chernobog has all the correct tools that he needs. Uh, it's kind of wonky, like the fail not bow on him is kind of wonky after coming out of his ult, but other than that, he's pretty solid. He has really good CC with his combo. It's just the problem is you're just trying to get off the combo, and then he has that global slow. So he's in an aspect he fits all the criteria. He can box. He does a lot of damage, can clear, and has the CC and can escape. So I put him in A plus just because I think if you know how to get back in the lane, which is also why Apollo is just really good up here. It's just that if you can go back into lane, you can get farm and you're not losing out, you're not falling behind. Apollo does it safer than Chernobog because Apollo doesn't have to go into the enemy, but this I put Chernobog in A plus. Plus Chernobog is a really good counter to Apollo because if Apollo rotates over, a Chernobog can follow him over with his own ult, which is good. Chiron. Chiron is B plus. Chiron has really good clear. He has a CC. He has a very utility based kit for a hunter. And the thing about that is it's good. Like that's fine and all. Like the healing and the cleanse on the one, but really he's more of a mid, like really Chiron is more of a mid laner than an ADC. He can get outboxed by the other ADCs with like attack speed steroids. You're really just trying to look at hitting all your like abilities really safe, like abilities really fast. Um, you have the dash is fairly good. The ult, the ult's also the ult's okay, but the thing is that it's either people could run away from you, and if you're not gonna kill them, then it's like pointless for fail not bow. So that's kind of like, oh, it's kind of wonky with fail not bow, which that's kind of my problem with Chiron. Other than that, I don't really see him carrying you out of like low MMR towards like high diamond, or not high diamond, but I don't see you you being carried out from bronze and silver to at least gold with Chiron, and even in like the higher elos, like I don't think you're stomping. Like Chiron is just not one of those ADCs that just completely stomps lane. I don't think he loses lane, but he's not one of those people who stomps lane. It's kind of like the whole chalk mentality. You're not gonna win lane, like you're not gonna like completely win lane, but you're not gonna lose lane if you catch my drift. Kronos. Okay, so I'm putting Kronos in A. He hurts really bad, but the thing is that I feel that ADCs are just more valuable due to fail not. But I'm not saying that Kronos is bad because he can still hurt, and he's really safe with his rewind. It's just fail not bow is just way too good to pass up. Other than that, he has really good clear, really good CC damage and movement speed with having a safe rewind. But the thing is that Fail Not Bow has more of a team fight presence, so all you can really do is slow stun. That's all a Chronos can really do for a team fight presence is just slow stun. Other than that, he can really shred through towers, but like that's an ADC's job is just to shred through towers. The like Apollo in turn can shred through towers, so it's like it doesn't really it doesn't make Chronos special knowing that he can do it with his little two with the whole stopwatch thing. Cupid, I put Cupid in B. The reason why is because Cupid's clear is really bad. Cupid for some odd reason has sustain. He has a really good dash, but his ult people can walk out of, and it's a is it a stun or a mess? I forget which one it is, but all I know is even though it's a circle ability, you can still walk out of it. It's like a circle cripple ability. You can still walk out of it or just simply beats it and just like go on with your day. And that's kind of why I don't care for Cupid. I don't think he's really that great. And plus, when you're trying to get your like full attack speed steroid off with your passive, you have to use your dash, which is kind of like why do I want to like waste my escape trying to go in? Other than that, he's just like really squishy. If not, I think he has like the lowest HP of like all the ADCs, or I'm probably going crazy from that and I'm getting like all my numbers mixed up and jumbled. But he doesn't like he fits the sustain. He doesn't fit the clear, and his team fight ability is trash. Moving on to the next person. Freya. Okay. Okay, so Freya right now, where would I put Freya right now? Because I literally don't see her at all in the meta. So for the benefit of the doubt, I'm gonna put her at B plus because I know she did get nerfed, but I know how like terrible like a late game Freya could shred you without a second thought. But the thing is that the problem is getting to late game, and I think that is a struggle for a lot of low MMR. I think you could possibly make it work in higher levels, but like I said, like I said, mid like ADCs, hunters with fail not is just so good right now. I don't really understand why you would go a magical ADC. Freya really her only escape is her ult, or you try to whoop them. But if you miss your whoop, or if your whoop's not up, then you are pretty much as good as dead. She has really great mana sustain and like health sustain, but that's about it as far as she goes. She just needs to be like really ahead, and that's kind of. And if you don't get that like early game kills to snowball, then you're pretty much not in a good position, especially with how hard it is to snowball in this current meta. So that's kind of why I put her down in a B plus. There's just too many things that needs to happen perfectly for Freya to work. Hachiman, Hachiman. I'm gonna put Hachi in A plus because Hachi can clear. Hachi has can escape. He has two escapes, his ult and his dash. He can get early game kills really like he can secure early game kills pretty well. One of my problems with Hachiman is that if you don't have your ult and you're trying to secure a kill, just to get your stun off, you're going to have to waste your escape, which is really risky. He has his passive is also kind of like eh, it's meh, but he is one of the most diverse. He's basically like a switch arming knife. He's one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse hunter. He makes good use of both transcendence and devs. Um, with deep he makes use of crit and DPS builds. He basically can make good use of every single build. He has fairly good tower push and objective push with his little banner granting people bonus attack speed. It's just he doesn't have an ult to secure a an objective, which is one of his downsides. Which is one of his downsides. Other than that, Hachi's just he's really easy to pick up, really good. I would suggest a newer ADC player to learn him if you're trying to get into ranked. And if you get stuck in the ADC role and you don't really play ADC and you don't know who to pick, I would pick Hachi because you don't really go wrong with Hachi. uh, Ho Yi, I will put in A plus because Ho Yi has a lot of damage. Oh, I'm being stupid. I totally forgot to put Neath up there. I knew I was forgetting someone. Yeah, I knew I was forgetting someone. But, anyways, so I put Ho Yi up here because he has a leap. He has a huge team fight ult. His clear could use some work, but when you get to a certain like point in the clear, it can nearly full clear. He has the stun. What makes Ho Yi really good and what I put him in A plus for is because he counters other gods with fail not. He can only be crit once per 3 seconds, meaning he's just the ultimate counter for this meta, which is why he's A plus. He has the team fight, he has the escape, he has the CC, and he has really high damage. Plus, his camp clear is very fast when you know his bounces. So that's why I put him in A plus. If lower level people won't like make Ho Yi like they won't take Ho Yi to like new levels, but if all else, all you need to know how to do with Ho Yi is hit an ult and clear the wave at lower levels, but at higher levels, they're going to make good use of his bounces, whether it be if you're clearing camps or just to secure kills. So that's why I put Ho Yi at A plus. Uh, I'm gonna put Izanami at A, just because if Izanami is just one of those people that if you're really comfortable with Iza, then you'll like play Iza to the best of her abilities and make her like almost close to S or like A plus. But Iza's kind of just like she's kind of a one trick pony. You're gonna clear the wave by autoing or with your two. You're gonna try to slow a person with your two. You're gonna dash out with your three when you're trying to push a tower and a person's coming, you're gonna dash with your three, but luckily this three can go under walls, which makes her pretty safe. You can one thing is that she's the best proxier for the ADCs. You don't really proxy with ADCs, but for Iza you can because you can clear the wave really early. Other than that, her late game isn't really all that. Your boxing early to mid is okay with her one or with her like little steroid, but her autos are kind of really wonky to hit, and if you're not hitting on the back, then you're losing out on a lot of damage. So that's kind of why she's an A. Other other than that, she's just kind of meh, not really doing much really. Jing Wei, I am putting Jing in S. Okay, so I put Jing I put Jing Wei in S because she's just really safe, and with Fail Not Bow and her crit steroid, she can just hit crits like no other. Uh, if you back out, if you need to be pushed, if you're pushed out a lane, you can back, you can fly in. With a Jing Wei, you're really never going to be under leveled against the enemy ADC unless you have died, but she has probably the most mobility out of any ADC with her insane movement speed, and she can knock herself up and fly to a safe distance. Just it grants her the immunity to knockups, which is like the strongest form of CC. She's just really good, really safe, uh, really good clear, and it knocks up people, which again is the strongest form of CC. So she has the CC, she has the safety, and she has like the boxing potential with her too, and that is why I put her in S. Is just because you, she just covers everything. You can't really push her out of lane, and she's just an annoyance and a nuisance. Medusa. Okay, where did I put Medusa at? I guess I can put her at. Mm, I'm gonna put her at A. Just because Medusa, hey, if you really use beads to counter her ult or just flick back and forth, like flick back and forth, that's kind of why I put her in A, because in higher levels, everyone knows everyone knows Medusa, like what Medusa's about to do. Just let her clear and then you clear. She'll probably try to aggress on you with her dash, so try to wait. She's a really good boxer at at low MMR. You can carry your whole games with Medusa, but in higher, I've noticed it's kind of harder because everyone knows how to counter your ult. But it's not all that bad. She has some really decent mobility. She can juke because of her little passive, making like strafing just faster. Really nice dash. So she's just kind of like your average. It's kind of like it's kind of like CERN. She just is average. She fits all her bases just really well, but like again, like when I said Artemis, if you really wanted a team fight ult, why not go for Medusa? But if you really want a team fight ult, then why just not go for Hou Yi and counter like all the fail knots, you know? Other than that, Medusa is really solid, so she's more of a mid though. I put Neath in A, more of a mid, really solid too. Has a lot of sustain. It has a pretty safe backflip. She's basically your Smite 101 god. covers all of her bases, just like CERN and just like Medusa. She doesn't have an auto attack steroid, so that's a thing. But she has a lot of CC with her roots. On the one, she can make her little weaves explode to root board people. She also has a slow on her 3 on the backflip, and she can stun with her ult, and it does a lot of damage and can help from any place on the map. So she has that global pressure. She covers all of her bases, so that's why I say A. Her using fail not's kind of weird because if you're trying to like hit a person from all the way across the map, then your fail not like you're not really using the most of the fail not if like you're not facing a person in lane and you're only trying to like do the cross map snipe, not really using the most of your fail not. So or cuz or wait, am I thinking of another thing? Cuz does fail not does fail not proc on Neath ult going in, or it has to proc on the next auto or ability? That's what I'm really thinking. Because if it procs on like her ult, then actually that's pretty good, and I lied. But if not, then yeah, oh, rip. I think it works on like it's the ult. Like if you ult a person, then that procs fail not. But either way, she's not really doing anything like as great as these people with on her doing a lot of damage and shredding protections. Chernabog with his global presence and him just showing up anywhere so he can get back in the lane. Hachiman just being safe and having a really good team fight ult that slows and can just safely clear from a distance and has that early game kill potential and the stun potential. And then Ho Yi just countering fail not users. Neath is just kind of like average at best doing all of this stuff. Most higher level people know what Neath is about to do, so she can't really do it as safely. Rom, I'm putting Rom at A. Uh, reason being I'm putting Rom at A is because a lot. Rom has pretty decent clear. One of the best boxers by an ADC by far. But the thing is with his ult and fail not, it's really weird because it's either you're using your ult to kill a person from long distance to clean it up, or you're using your ult to in a team like you're using your ult just to clean up a kill long distance. And yes, if you use your ult in a team fight, it'll help really well. But the fact of the matter is that the team fight doesn't happen until like for an ADC, like you're just trying to get up farm, and the team fight is not going to happen until way later. And most of the time, uh, if you're not a good ROM, you won't hit a lot of your alts, which is another factor, and that is why I put ROM at A, is because low MMR people who have never played ROM should never play him in ranked. You should try to practice, get as much practice as you can in casuals or like in another game mode before taking it in ranked. And high level people will hit their alts and it will do a lot of damage and they can outbox you. But that's the thing with Rom, is that if you're behind with Rom, then he doesn't do anything. He's like CERN. He's like when you're behind with Rom, he doesn't do anything. He's like CERN. If you're behind with CERN, you're not really gonna do much. With Neath, you still have sustain and you still have your global ult, and with Medusa you still have your dash, stun, steroid, and ult. But the thing is with Rom, you're based on attacks, you're based on autos, and if you're behind, that means you're behind on gold most of the time. That means you're behind on items. And if you're behind on items, then you can't really do your boxing job great because you're not really reliant on like abilities. Scotty, best she is the best ADC in the game. Her her new buff makes her insane, and she needs she honestly needs a nerf. Like she needs to be fixed in the next patch because playing Scotty is just at high levels of play very very frustrating. Even at mid levels of play, it's very frustrating. It feels like you lose lane like against her all the time. She can push your towers. She's one of the best tower killers, one of the best pushers. She can just completely and instantly uh destroy you. Her slow is very lengthy, like it's very long and very strong. The Calder route, and then making you slide really fast with the movement speed, so you're kind of safe in that regards. And so and she also has one of the highest base movement speeds for an assassin. So anytime if you know where your jungler is coming in, you can literally put down your little ice slides and just like zoom out of there faster than you would let's say an AMC. So that's why I put her like this high, and plus you can just slow them to all hell and back, and then just completely blow them up with Calder. Also, Fail Not Bow. Calder can proc Fail Not Bow, which is really insane. And so it like Calder critting that that in itself should never happen. Calder critting because he already does. Also, she gets 10% more damage when Calder dies, making it to where she can outbox you really really well. And sometimes your autos will end up attacking Calder and not her, which helps her outbox you still. She's just really good. Really, really like whenever Scotty is top ADC, it's never fun for the other ADCs. Soul. I put Soul in A. She's not really doing much right now. She can still push your towers in. She has really good clear, really good team fight ult. She's really safe with her 3, and she has self sustain. Like she has her own like healing with her 1. So that's why I put her in A, because she can like fit all of those criterias. Her passive is like an auto attack speed steroid, which helps her destroy towers because she's like a really good pusher. But other than that, like I said, I wouldn't favor a mage ADC over like a hunter ADC because fail not bow. That's literally why she gets A. Uller. Ull. Uller is getting A plus because Uller hurts. He hurts, and fail not bow gives him extra 20%, making him to where he can land like hit abilities off a rotation. Like when he stance when he stance changes, his abilities are pretty much coming off of cooldowns by the time he gets to cycle through to his next stance. Really hits really hard, can make good use of fail not, especially when the stance change like procs it. It can proc it, and so he can proc it fairly often. He has really good escapes, a leap, movement speed buff. He has an attack. He has an attack power buff on his bow stance. Really safe range. Really great clear. He can outbox most. He can outbox and outdamage most other ADCs, but mainly you're going to see Uller in a mid lane. Uh, what Uller lacks is a team fight ult, and that's why I put Uller down in A plus. Because the thing is that team fight ult, uh, when you're playing Uller mid, you're giving up a mage with like usually mages have the really high AOE team fight ult, and when you play Uller, you're kind of giving that up. But he is still a solid ADC. Like he's still a solid ADC. Uh, Even if you're playing him in the ADC role and you're giving up that team fight ult, he can still do his job and be a nuisance in that lane. So I think he's like at deserving of A plus. Shibalanke, a really great boxer due to his one uh his early game cleared his early game clear is amp, but once you like get a few ticks in your one, then you can just keep on clearing with autos. He has a really great passive that lets him get damage over time, like over the time of the game, which is really really helpful for boxing. CC immune 3, which is great. But the thing is, after the nerf to uh, his ult, he's never really been the same. You can't really like top levels of play, just like don't really mind him. You can do a better job. You can do a better job by picking one of these people that could basically out clear him, or pick some of or these people can out clear Shibboleth, or they just have better team fight ults than Shibboleth. So that's basically why I put Shibboleth in A. His only really outstanding thing is boxing. And I know Ullaron is not on here, sadly, but if I were to put Ullaron, I would probably put him at possibly B plus, because the thing is that okay, so I know so Oleron, his clear can get countered by stepping in front of it. That as much is a problem, but he can use his two to clear, so he has multiple ways of clearing, and his ult is really good. It's just he has no mobility whatsoever. He has healing, but the healing is very like not really worth it. But his ult is really good. I really wouldn't recommend playing him in ADC as much, because just other ADCs, and then he has the bad case of him being a mage, so he doesn't get to use Fail Not. But other than that, you're really only playing Oleron for his ult, which is one of the best ults in the game. And that would be the tier list. You can you can comment, let me know like what you think should be where. This is just my personal tier list. This doesn't mean it's like the end all be all tier list. Of course, a person may make a better tier list because they know more about these characters in depth more than I do, but this is what I see in ranked. This is what I see in ranked. The majority of people who get played, and just their overall effectiveness, and how I feel with these characters when I use them. So, with all that being said, thank you for watching the stream, or when this video goes up on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.